YouTube, what is up? We are back for NFL Week 14 of the regular season. Guys, last week wasn't our best week. We were on a great winning streak, and last week punched us in the mouth. It is what it is. Nobody's going to be perfect. It's fun to talk shit and have fun when we're doing well. But that's just the reality of betting is we can't control the outcomes of these games. A lot of weeks we have are going to be great like they've been this season, and once in a while you're going to punch in the face. That's what happened last week. For the season, we are still up, though. We are at 26 wins, 20 losses. I believe it's about 56.4 or 5% on the year, which is still a really high win rate. And we're up 2.3 units. So could have been better, but we are still up, which a lot of people can't say this deep in the season. And when I say a lot of people, I should say 99% of people, because bettors typically lose. And we are still up money even after losing. So that shows us that we did a lot of good this season to give us that cushion in the event of a bad week. We're still alive, here to talk about it, and let's try to get back on track this weekend and get back on the winning side of things. So this weekend we are using 4 teams. All our bets are going to be teasers. If you don't like teasers, sorry, I don't know what to tell you. There were no really good lines this week as far as just betting them straight up. We had to do a few teasers to make it work. So we're going to be riding with 4 different teams. It's going to be 6 teasers total, okay, guys? And if this gets confusing, go to my Twitter at KarasFootball or Nick Karas Football, whatever it is. I always forget. I actually write it out. It's all clean. You can just see it. I post it before the YouTube videos. Just head on over there and you can see it all laid out nice and neat. But here's the deal. It's going to be 6 different teasers utilizing 4 teams. The odds on each teaser, they're 2-team 6-point teasers at minus 125 odds. And we're going to be doing each teaser for 0.3 units each. So 6 teasers, it'll be 0.3 units each. That'll be 1.8 units risked in total. We're not risking more than 1 or 0.9 units per team this week. So again, if that's confusing, go to my Twitter. You can see it all laid out nice and clean. So the 4 teams we're going to be using is, number 1, we're going to be using the Dolphins. We're going to be teasing them down from minus 6.5 to minus 0.5. So basically, they just got to win. They're hosting the Jets. Our second teaser is going to be the Rams. We're teasing them up from plus 3.5 to plus 9.5. Okay, so those are our first 2, and the Rams are hosting the Bills. Our third team is going to be the Bucs. We're teasing them down from minus 6.5 to minus 0.5. Again, basically all they have to do is win. They're hosting the shitty Raiders. And our last team is the Bengals. We're teasing them down from minus 5.5 on Monday Night Football. They're on the road against the Cowboys, and we're going to get the Bengals at plus 0.5, okay? So those are our 4 teasers. I'll explain the different variations of how we're going to line them up and why I like these bets. So starting with the Dolphins, we're going to be lining up the Dolphins. So we're going to have the Dolphins mixed with the Bengals and the Bucs and the Rams. Okay, so it's going to be pretty obvious what I'm trying to say here. We're basically mixing each team with each team. So those are our 3 involving the Dolphins. Our 3 involving the Rams are going to be the Rams mixed with one with the Rams and Bengals, one with the Rams and Bucs, one with the Rams and Dolphins. But we already said Dolphins, Rams, so that's already included. So basically all you guys need to know is each team there's 6 different teasers. Each team is in 3 of them. So to be one, I'll get into the breakdown in 1 second. To be crystal clear, let me just make it simple. There's 6 teasers. Number 1, Dolphins, Rams. Number 2, Dolphins, Bucs. Number 3, Dolphins, Bengals. Number 4, Rams, Bengals. Number 5, Rams, Bucs. And number 6 is Bengals, Bucs. Okay, so those are the 6. You can rewind that little snippet. Those are the 6 we're doing. Okay, because I'm sure teasers, just because of the nature of them and combining things, it can make, even though it's still simple, it could sound kind of complicated. So just want to give you that little snippet to make it crystal clear. So let's get into, and one last reminder, because I know it's a weird units. We usually do higher units. We're doing each teaser for 0.3 units. So it adds up to being 1.8 units total. So it adds up to a decent amount. Okay, let's get into the games. Dolphins minus 0.5, we have them teased down to. So guys, I like the Dolphins in this one. I think this line should be more like 8.5. But even if I think there's a little value in, this should be 8.5, we can get it down to 6.5. Me personally, I still don't love that there's too many ways where it could lose. laying high numbers. I'm not a fan of that unless my line is even more ridiculous, like is significantly higher than the sportsbook line. So I'd rather just be safe and tease this one down. The Jets are dead, guys. I actually backed the Jets last week against Seattle. They should have won that game, and they just blew a horrible. They had a big lead, and it was almost Will Levis-esque how impressive it was for Aaron Rodgers to blow that game. So the Jets are dead, man. What are they, 3-9 at this point? They're fucking horrible. Aaron Rodgers looks 70 years old out there. The Dolphins, their season is not looking bright as far as their chances to make the playoffs. But unlike the Jets, like, I mean, who knows what the mathematical statistics are saying, but realistically, using common sense, the Dolphins, they still have a prayer to get in. If the Broncos could lose a few games, the Dolphins still have a prayer to get in. Whoever that last wild card spot, they need a little luck for them to lose some games. The Jets are done. The Jets are not getting in. It's over. It's over. So they have nothing to play for. The Dolphins, however, if they win out, they have a chance. I'm not saying they'll get in, but they do have a chance still. So I do think they're still going to be highly motivated. They just got embarrassed on primetime Thanksgiving. I think they're a lot better at home. We know this than playing on the road in cold weather. And Tua's been great since coming back from his concussion this year. I think he lights it up. I think Aaron Rodgers is old and should just retire. I think very high probability that the Dolphins win this game. We'll take Dolphins minus 0.5. Next game, we have the Rams plus 9.5. So, guys, I will admit I did mess up on this one in the sense of I wanted to bet straight up Rams plus 4.5. I wanted to make that bet. But at the time, guys, I always tell you it takes a lot of research for me to do these games. At the time of betting Rams 4.5, I still wasn't sure whether, based on the other games, if it would have made more sense to combine them with some other teams in a teaser or bet them straight up. So I waited one day, and by the time I waited, the line changed to 4, and then it got down to 3.5. So I missed that line that I wanted of Rams 4.5, but it's okay because I can tease them and still get what I think is good value. So Rams plus 9.5. I think this line should be closer to Bills minus 2.5. I don't think it should be what it is now, is past the 3. The Bills are a really good team. I'm not saying they're not, but I think the Rams are really good too offensively, especially now that they got Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua back. They look like a totally new regenerated team. And the thing is, I've been very high. You wouldn't think it watching my videos this year or just following what I put out on Twitter, but I'm actually really high on the Rams offense. I've just been afraid to back this team for a while because, like, if you just look at how they've started the season, it was very slow and not impressive, and they weren't playing like the team that I know that they could be offensively. And so it was just a team I was afraid to get involved with. Now they're starting to put up more, in my opinion, they're starting to consistently play like that team that I know they really are. And this is a spot where I'm finally ready to back them. And the Buffalo, look, like I said, they're very scary. This is a bad spot for Buffalo. Buffalo's coming off of a huge primetime win. They're just rolling. They're 10-2, and now they have to travel all the way to LA. They're going from cold weather to LA, totally different environment. Lots of travel. I just think it's a bad spot for Buffalo. I'm not saying they won't win this game by a field goal or something, but I do think getting 9.5 points is going to be safe here, and what I think will be a one-possession game. Who wins this game? It really could go either way. I'll say Buffalo in a close one, but I just like this game to be a close one-possession game. Kind of a shootout in this one is what I'm predicting. We'll take the Rams plus 9.5. Next game, we are riding with the Bucs minus 0.5, hosting the Raiders. Look, guys, Raiders is a team that I have been bullying on, picking on all year when it comes to them being on the road facing a team that I believe is elite or very good at home. And I think we have a similar spot here. Gardner Minshew I picked on a lot. I have more respect for Aiden O'Connell, who's starting now. And if Minshew was starting, there's a chance I would just lay the 6.5 straight up, kind of like we did earlier in the year, or a few weeks ago, I should say, where we laid the 7 with Burrow and the Bengals. I just think Minshew is so bad. Aiden O'Connell, I don't think he's good either, but he's better than Minshew in my opinion, and it warrants enough respect for me to not lay the 6.5 and just tease this one down. It doesn't warrant enough respect for me to, not tease them, but I still I still would rather be safe on this one. I've been a big proponent of Baker this year. I think he's been playing, I'm not going to say MVP level anymore. I was saying that early on. Now I think it's closer to Josh Allen or Jared Goff. But I still think the Bucs are very good. I like this Bucs team. And the Raiders, I think last week was their chance to win a game. They blew it. I think this team is dead. They play the Chiefs hard every year in Arrowhead for some reason, it feels like. But if you just look at the track record of this team over the course of the year, they've been arguably the worst team in the league, one of the worst for sure. Bucs have been really good. The Bucs, you look at the Bucs losses this year, they're against really good teams. Like the Bucs have been a very good team this year. I'm not saying they've been elite, but they've been very good. They lost, two of the Niners by a field goal. They took the Chiefs to overtime. Like these are some of their losses. Baker Mayfield's been playing great with his new OC, and the Raiders defense has been so bad lately. Yes, Aiden O'Connell's an upgrade over Minshew, but the defense is still bad. The Bucs defense is starting to play a little bit better. I just think it's a safe win for the Bucs. They're right in the hunt of this playoff thing, especially with Atlanta losing, 3 in a row. I think they have the same record now, I think. So ton of motivation for the Bucs to get a win here. They can't mess this one up. The Raiders, I think they're done with the season. Looking onwards to next season, they don't really have anything to play for anymore. Last week they did prime time, Black Friday game against the team that they hate, against the quarterback that they love to fuck with. I don't think that's the case here. I think they probably like Baker, probably respect Baker, and I think they're kind of just over this whole season. I'll take the Bucs in a safe one to just win it. Bucs minus 0.5. And our last pick of the week, we are riding with the Bengals minus. Well, we're teasing them down from minus 5.5 to plus 0.5. Bengals clearly got to get the award this year for unluckiest team in the league. Joe Burrow, you look at his numbers. If his record was flipped from 4-8 to 8-4, he might be the MVP this year with how good his numbers have been. He would be right there in that conversation with Josh Allen and Jared Goff at least. And man, his team just they always either lose by a point or he plays well, and the defense just can't give them any help. It's always something with this team. But here's the thing, guys. Here's why I'm going to look deeper into this and say this is a safe one. They have played a lot of really good quarterbacks, and that's why they've gotten unlucky, because they're playing really good opponents, and it just the key moments haven't bounced their way. Even last week, that was one of our losing bets, was having the Bengals minus 3. And Russell Wilson, he looked like he looked like prime Tom Brady. He looked so good last weekend. And yeah, some people would say, oh, the Bengals defense made him look that good, but that's only a part of it. He really just played well. And it's like they can't catch a break. They're like, oh, fuck, Russell Wilson just struggled against the Browns and lost to that team. But against us, he plays perfect, doesn't make any mistakes except for, a pick 6 because Pickens fell, and it wasn't even his fault. It's just like the Bengals, it's like the quarterbacks just turn to prime Tom Brady when they play them. It's just been unlucky. And I think there's value in that because the Bengals are, like I keep saying every week, they're really, really good. They just are very unlucky. Here's the deal. This week, they're playing Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush is not one of these guys. He's not Russell Wilson. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's none of these guys that have beaten barely, stuck by the Bengals. Cooper Rush, in my opinion, unless I'm forgetting somebody off the top of my head, aside from Mac Jones, Cooper Rush is probably the worst fucking quarterback in the league. Cooper Rush blows. The guy's horrible. They've won 2 garbage games in a row. Congrats. You just beat the Giants, who have nothing to play for, no quarterback, nothing. Cowboys still suck. Okay, Cowboys are horrible. They're not even a totally different planet between Burrow and Cooper Rush. I think the bad luck streak ends here for the Bengals. It's just at some point skill has to take over, and I think the skill discrepancy between Burrow and Rush is just going to be way too much in this one. I think this line should be more like Bengals minus 8 or something. I will take the Bengals. We'll be safe with it. I don't want to lay 5.5 and they end up winning by 3 or 4. We'll just play it safe. We're going to lay, we're going to get a point. We're going to get a plus 0.5 with the Bengals here. I already told you in the beginning of the video how we're going to mix and match all these teasers, so go back and watch that if you forgot what we're doing. But those are the 4 plays we like, guys. Every play is going to be 0.3 units, so in total it'll be 1.8 units each. So usually, like for example, I'll say 1 unit is 1% of your bankroll. So in this case, 0.3 units would be 0.3% of your bankroll. So throughout the 6 games, it'll add up to 1.8%. Okay. Hopefully that made sense. If not, go over to my Twitter at Karis Football, and you can see it all written out for you so you can get a visual of it. And that's it, boys. Let's bounce back this week. Again, who knows what's going to happen? These outcomes are out of our control, but all we can do is bet on what we like before, without seeing the actual games play out, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully the lucky bounces break our way this week, and we get back on track. All right, guys, let's have a good weekend. Peace, boys.